Good morning. I greet everybody who's joined us today. My name is Volodymyr. I greet you in Media Center, Ukraine today. Our meeting today is half step to peace, whether we'll be able to reach it. We'll be talking about the latest happenings on the international scene. The third meeting with Volodymyr Zelenskyy with Donald Trump has happened in the White House. We have seen that there was no breakthrough, there was no Tomahawks, and that our leaders of Ukraine and U.S. have met after Putin's call to Trump. Today, we have already new news. We know the results. But we can talk about all of this. We can talk about next meetings and what to expect from these events that are unleashed at the moment. I'd like to introduce our speaker today, Volodymyr Denysenko, leader of the Analytical Center Business Capital. Thank you, everybody who has joined us today, who's watching our translation, who's watching our podcast. We had a different reality several days ago. About 15 minutes ago, we had a post of former Russian. We had a post of former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, where he says plainly enough that United States is our enemy, and has several choice words for Donald Trump, which yesterday would not have been probably possible. So let's see what is going on today and what we can see, because we are currently in the epicenter of these happenings. Before today, we could have said that Putin had two different ideas, opposite ones, which are exclusive mutually, that should have led to some conflict at some point. First idea is not to break his alliance with Trump. He was doing everything possible to keep him as an ally. The key point to that was stalling and postponing time. Putin is not going to, was never going to go to any peace talks, but he thought that Trump, this relationship with Trump, economics, then just promises, all of this has led to the fact that he has won over 9 months of time. This is enough. Currently, it appears that he thinks he has a fair advantage, because in Putin's logic, in about 10 days, there will be a large negotiations of China and United States that happen on 30th of October, when United States introduces new tariffs against China. And Trump at that time will not be interested in Russia. So Putin thinks he's winning. The logic of the last 9 months from Trump's inauguration is stalling. Second idea that Putin has is to make Ukraine give Donbass up. A lot better that Ukraine does it himself. After Alaska, it was a very close to be doing that, but fortunately we have passed that moment. So right now, Putin thinks that without Donbass, he cannot end the war. It doesn't mean that he's going to end the war after Donbass is turned over to Russia, but without Donbass, he sees the war as not completely finished. What is going on currently inside Russia? The social contract has been broken. I'm not going to say that it has been upheld since Putin's inauguration, but we're talking since the start of invasion. The first contract that has been broken is that this is a war about money. All of the rhetorics, all of the territories, the war is about money, and the social contract is we pay you money, you go and die. This logic has more or less been successful right up until last month. Since last month, Russian Federation has cut costs and is decreasing contract prices for army service. From one side, if it was involving only poor regions, that would be understandable. But if a highly successful and profitable Tatarstan is decreasing contract prices, this does not mean that it's economics. It means that this is a political decision. Since March of 2025, May of 2025, Russia was ready to conscript people, but they've decided that they can make and then allocate the necessary numbers by contracts. And conscripted ones can be also made to sign contracts under duress, of course. But this contract is no longer feasible. Second social contract that Russian propaganda and Russian politics have offered is that the war does not influence you economically. This contract has gone bust in June of 2025 when many people have felt that their lives have become a lot worse. And currently the decline is continuing, but the Russian authorities state that we will be continuing this war even if it makes civilian life worse. And the third social contract that Putin has broken last year is the untouchability of elites. It's about 20, 30 people from the closest circles of Putin. It's FBI's highest leaders and defense and security. But this contract has also been broken, and he thinks that the repressive power is enough to continue the war as it is. This is one of the biggest and most important moments that we can see. Due to it, we can hypothesize, I repeat, not state, hypothesize, that last year was a specific point for Putin when he decided that he will and can fight against Ukraine until he dies. What changed for the past year is that he made the decision that he will continue this war while he is able to do so. This does not mean he can cancel this idea because he's a cowardly person. He will be deciding all of the future issues with shall we continue this war or shall we not. But probably for the first time in his life, he made a decision that he is going to fight the United States over this and will be continuing the war no matter what. If something happens, something happens. In that, we must understand that why Putin is making such a decision. Even without regard to the economic sanctions that United States has been undertaking, even though those sanctions were stated to be huge, all those sanctions will do is just lower profits from oil for Russia. Optimistically, it's 45%. Worst case, best case for Russia would be about 30%. Some will probably will see something in the middle due to developments, because we cannot see what India is going to be doing right now. 2 days ago, we received information that India has offered to Moscow an agreement for Russia to localize S-400 and S-500 for on Indian territory. Russians were critical of this, and currently we can hypothesize that Indians have said that you localize this, and we will continue working with your shadow fleet. We see a lot of unclear, not understandable decisions, but we can see that in about a year that Russian oil profits will fall in a range of 10% to 40%, minimum and maximum. And this is not this is not going to be the end of the Russian Federation, but it is going to be it's going to make it unfeasible to continue financing the war on the level they do right now. 16% of the Russian budget goes to war right now. In a year, it will be 19%, 20%. It's not going to be a catastrophe for the Russian budget. But we must understand that Putin does not think in 5 years, more than 1 year. He thinks in 3-6 months. He thinks in a tactical way. The only thing that can actually break the Russian economics is that Tomahawks that can be given to Ukraine and that can destroy 4 oil refineries of Russia. Because Russian economics is probably 2 oil refineries in Russia, in Black Sea, and 2 in the Baltic Sea. This would possibly be a crippling hit to the Russian economics, but due to the latest statements of Trump, we will not be having this, and this is what enables Putin to think that he has several months to continue this war and do what he is doing right now. Alongside that, we must understand that Putin is living in 10 days negotiations between China and Russia, China and United States, and he thinks that there will not be a serious threat to Russia because Trump will be otherwise occupied. He will be dealing with Chinese-American negotiations. So we can forecast that we will not have any abilities for Trump to stop this war in the nearest future. We see the war entering a new 5-6 month cycle because I don't see us able to forecast any bigger term. We see that negotiations with Ukraine is going to be unfeasible, and Putin sees that he can make some breakthroughs on the battlefield. When we see that, uh, when we see what has been before the negotiations of China with United States, we can see that Trump has made his least amount. He was he had to prevent China from creating a satellite front, united group of cronies that would be acting as one. But on the other hand, United States was also unable to create such a group of satellites, and we can see right now that those satellites are sitting on the bench lines, some with popcorn, some with heart medicine, and are waiting for the negotiations. What will they be about? Three things mostly. Not to allow military action. I don't see any happening in the nearest future. Negotiations will be about avoiding straight, direct military conflict. Second point is new rules of world trade, which United States during Trump, Biden, and again Trump has been destroying. Currently, China has released a pretty big briefing about how the trade rules have been ruined, so they have to make new ones. And the third topic during these negotiations is what will be happening to Europe, who will be controlling it as the most lucrative market of the world. And that, the European part, in some time, which we can estimate right now as half a year, we may have a sub-negotiation line about the Russia-Ukraine war. What will Russians be doing in that time? They'll be trying to create problems in a third point of the world, such as recreating the Syrian scenario of 2015, and they were allowed to be at the negotiations. They were trying to do this for the past days. They were unable to create a conflict in Venezuela. They tried to play the Middle East card. That also failed. In Moldova, their conflict has failed. Currently, they will be trying to seek this third point of distraction. Even the Niger revolution has been tried. They will be trying to do something like that. Another thing, they will be continuing to intimidate Europe with we must keep in mind that the main shareholders are Europeans, not Americans. They will be threatening land invasion, etc., etc. They will be trying to mediate the Chinese-U.S. negotiations where they're absolutely not needed by the Americans or by the Chinese, but they could be put on the agenda. And if they can manage this, this would be a moderate success. And the main advantage they have is the Arctic Way, and issuing license for rare earth metal development in that region. Even if, though that is a big advantage, that does not seem to be necessary at the moment because Russia does not have the necessary uh, technology to develop this, and Putin does not want to give it away to anybody. Giving it away to China is angering United States. Giving it away to United States is angering China. So Putin is holding on to it in a stalemate, and I don't see him playing this card, but we can see that Putin has been living in his own small reality, that the front will fall, Ukraine will freeze, and Europe will give him everything that he wants. In that context, in that unrealistic scenario, Putin lives and believes it. And in the beginning of 2025, we saw that Putin actually believes in the summer, in the summer front, in the summer advance, and he was thinking that this will be it for him. Putin lives in illusions. Putin lives in short-term prognosis, half a year, or actually a change of seasons. What should Ukraine do? First thing is that Ukraine is not part of the US-China negotiations, and we must become a part of them, because we have relations with United States as second circle. With China, we do not have relations beyond third or fourth circle of decision makers at all. This is a big problem. We must rectify it as soon as possible, because to work with European Union countries, we must be on the map, because Ukraine is going to be part of the EU. So we have we are very marginally present in the European sphere. The ideal scenario for us is to join the United States and join China in putting pressure on Russia. This is what I see as the task of Ukrainian diplomacy. If we can do this, if we cannot do this, because we can see right now that United States does not have any way to force Russia to negotiate. But if we cannot achieve this in the next half year, we must mention that we will have another yearly cycle of war with all of the understandable consequences. As I said again, we can change the situation only with the joint efforts of United States and China, because United States by itself has no chance. Thank you. We saw Trump's statement that he is going to be talking to Chinese leader during his visit to South Korea. Are we correct in understanding that Ukraine has a lot riding on this decision? It does, but currently we are not in that question. We have a severe delay. The first thing on the agenda is trade, European market, and avoidance direct military conflict. We can have we can be a part of the agenda only in a very long time. Going back to the negotiations that went between Ukraine and United States, what happened then in your opinion? Because we had the feeling that we were going there to have some decisions about Tomahawks, but in the last moment, something went wrong. There is no secret, really. It was a double ultimatum of Trump. Trump gives the ultimatum to Putin that the front line is frozen, and apparently Putin has given Trump something that he wanted as well. Ukraine has been given another ultimatum that the front line is frozen right now, but you must understand that Russian demands have to be appeased as well. Language, church, Russian parties, and what's most important, Ukrainian armaments and war effort we obviously mean the decrees. This happened on Friday. On Monday, Russia has started overturning any idea that the conflict will be frozen at the current line. We can see right now that they have stated that there will be no freezing of the conflict. We are Russians. We will fight. Trump is weak. We do not believe in the Tomahawks. Putin tried the nuclear blackmail again, that if you provide Tomahawks, we will be launching nuclear missiles. This is absurd. As we can see, Trump does not believe this. We can see that Putin does not believe this as well, because Putin is a coward, and for him, the nuclear fighting is the end of everything. Currently, we can see that we will not be seeing Tomahawks in the nearest future. It does not mean that we will not be seeing them again, but not now. Budapest 2.0, is that possible? Theoretically, anything is possible, but right now I think that the negotiations in Budapest is severely limited. The key point of freezing the conflict on the front line has failed. Putin is severely against this, and without that point with a ceasefire, I don't see any negotiations happening. Putin tried to play another card, Iranian, diluting the Ukrainian question with Iranian question. Rubio has declined. Trump has declined, and without the ceasefire, without the conflict being frozen, I don't see any successful negotiations at all. If you have any questions, please let me know. We do not have any questions from our audience. I'd like to thank you for your ideas, for your information, working for our victory. Glory to Ukraine.